Hello, my name is Dorothy Leevy, and I'm going to read an excerpt from my story, The Teacher, the Dog, and the Girl. And this story can be found in the Flying Crapo anthology. Carol sat in front of her television after she had eaten supper and must have dozed off for a few hours because she awoke in darkness. At first, she could not identify what had disturbed her sleep. Then she heard it. Sounds of people on the street. People shouting words, most of which she could not understand. As the sounds drew nearer, she heard, "Sacre diable, échappé." She turned off the television and moved to the kitchen at the back. She was trembling in fear as the sounds came closer. Then she breathed a sigh of relief when the silence indicated that the crowd had moved on. The silence was not complete, though. What was that scratching sound against the back door of the kitchen? She could hear the pounding of her heart. The scratching was followed by a soft cry, like someone in pain. The door was made up of two panels, one of which was bolted to the floor. She removed the bar across, and even before she had opened the unbolted panel, the dog rushed in. She screamed in fright and was about to rush to her room and lock the door when the dog placed itself in front of her and hung its head. That was when she noticed the gash on the head. How cruel, she thought. She wondered what Father Vano's dog was doing out at that hour. She dampened a washcloth on which she put some disinfectant and wiped the wound. The dog looked up at her and her heart did a somersault. How was it she had never noticed the eyes before? They reminded her so much of Angela's eyes. She led the dog to an area of the kitchen where she put an old bath towel on the floor. She then opened the window for some air and went to bed. It was 7 o'clock when she woke up. Wondering if she had dreamed the events of the previous night, she hurried to the kitchen. There was no dog. However, the crocus bag and a few red stains proved that she had not imagined the events. But how could the dog have got out? The open window? Could it have jumped that high? She checked the back door. It was still securely closed and barred. She opened it and looked out. There was no sign of a dog anywhere. She had to hurry to be at school on time. She would call Father Vano later. The few villagers who were on the streets looked tired and they were silent. The children also looked tired, more tired than the usual Friday look. Of course, her two students, Christo and Bonte, were eager to share the news. "Miss, they hit the dog with a stick and burst its head. They wanted to hold it and tie it because if it was a lugawoo, it would turn back to a person if they pour holy water on it when the sun come out. But it escaped. They chased it, but they don't know where it disappeared." "Calm down, Carol, calm down," she told herself. "These are just superstitious stories." She got home early, and as she opened her front door, the click of the lock also opened her memory. That morning, when she had opened the door to look for the dog, she had seen the empty clothesline in the backyard. In her haste to get to school and not being too alert after the events of the night before, her mind had failed to process what was before her. Now she wondered what had happened to her beach towel, her white terry cloth bathrobe, and her spandex shorts that had been on the line. She felt overwhelmed by events and wanted a quiet evening. She woke up on the Saturday morning feeling rested. She went to the main shop and saw it was filled with excited villagers eager to discuss the recent events. "Carol, you miss everything. They know the dog they was chasing was the loup-garou. He escaped. They don't know how it get to the airport." Another young man added his version of the events. He told his audience that Philo had joined in the chase of the dog, but had returned to his corner in the cemetery and had fallen asleep. He explained to Carol that Philo was not right in the head, was homeless, and slept in the cemetery. Apparently, Philo's sleep was disturbed by rapid footsteps. He made the sign of the cross and ducked behind the headstone of the grave. He started to tremble when he saw coming through the cemetery a ghost. It was a ghost, Philo had insisted, because it was dressed in white with a wrap around the head. Philo thought it was coming for him and had told his audience that he almost messed himself, but the ghost went towards the presbytery. And if you would like to hear the rest of the story, you can find it in the Flying Crapo anthology. It's available on www.theflyingcrapo.com or on amazon.com. Thank you.